What's up and welcome, I'm the one and only West Coast King, and welcome to our first career mode series in FIFA 17. And I am very excited to get this one underway. And part of the reason for that excitement is I think this is only the second time where my number one choice for a team matches up with your guys' number one choice for a team that you want to see. And it just makes for a very good career mode series. The last time that happened, we got the Orlando City career mode series. And I think that might be my favorite series that I've ever done. So hopefully we can enjoy that same type of success here with Milan. Now this series is going to be a bit tricky because for the first time ever in career mode, we have these board expectations. And it's not just some little blurb about where they want us to finish or this or that. There's some pretty detailed, very specific things the board want us to achieve, and I'll show you those expectations once we actually get in there. But just a broad overview, they want to see success across the board. So they want high domestic success, high continental success. It's critical that we grow our brand here in Milan. And then for financial and youth development, they want medium, kind of some medium results there. So we're going to have to achieve objectives in all 5 of those categories. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be critical and very crucial that I stay focused on those objectives and I don't lose sight of what I'm trying to do in there. So let's get in here and let's take a look at what we've got here at Milan. So before we actually get in and take a look at everything that's going on with the team, we have to accept an invite to a preseason tournament. And once again, as I always do, I'll accept an offer for one of these tournaments, but I'm not going to be playing any of the games. I will simulate all of the games of this tournament. And it looks like, you know what? Let's see what the team can do. They're all 4-star difficulty, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the one that's worth the most money. That does look like the most difficult one as well. There's some pretty good teams in this one, but we'll take it. We'll take a shot at this one. Let's see how the team does. So here are our objectives, and there's a lot to get to in this one. I'm not sure how much we're actually going to be able to do as far as buying and selling players this episode, just because there's so much to get to with this new career mode system. So let's jump right into these objectives. As you can see, we have a manager popularity rating now, and it's at 80. I believe that's what it starts at no matter where you go or what team you start with. You start at 80 as your popularity rating, and that will go up or down depending on how you do with your objectives and how you do as far as team success goes. So that's a new feature as well. So for youth development, here are our objectives, and they're both short-term goals, which means we have to do them this season. We have to sign at least 2 players younger than 20 years old with potential greater than the average overall rating of players currently in the same position. That's a mouthful. It's very specific, and it's not going to be easy to do, but it might be easier than the second objective, which is to grow 1 youth academy player by at least 5 overall points, play them in 5 matches, either as part of the starting 11 or coming in as a sub. So I could throw a player in there at the very end of a game and it will count. They just have to get 5 appearances in this season. So that's going to be very difficult. The youth development is going to be that's already a very large task. So for our brand exposure, and this is the critical one for the board, this is the one we absolutely have got to achieve our objectives in. So we have 3 of them. 2 short-term goals, which are sign 1 crucial first-team player assigned to a midfielder or midfielder position. So that won't be too difficult to do. So we'll have to go out and get a very good midfielder, which was which was a position I was already going to be targeting. So that lines up with my objectives as well. So I'm glad we're on the same page there. And then the second one is gain $55 million in earnings from shirt sales within a season. And I got an email from the board about that, explaining it a little bit. And the way you do that is you have to sign big high-profile players or make sure that the players already on your team in the starting roles perform very well. So it kind of ensures that you're getting good players in and that you're sticking with those good players and they're playing a lot and making sure that their brand grows. So I like that objective. It's very unique and very different, and it kind of makes you have to think about things a little bit differently than in past FIFA. So I like that one a lot. And as for our long-term goal, we have to earn $22 million through media earnings or competition prize money within 3 seasons. That's good. It's going to be a bit tricky because we have no European competition in our first season. Obviously, coming into Milan, they haven't been very good lately. So we have to kind of earn our way back into Europe and then hopefully earn that $22 million in prize money. We'll have to see if the preseason tournament counts. If that counts and we do well, we should be okay in that one. That shouldn't be too difficult. For our financial objective, we have 1 of them, and it's finish the season with $22 million unspent allocated funds, transfer budget, and wage budget. So that kind of goes against the brand exposure objectives of buying high profile players, because now they want us to also save money which is going to be a pain in the butt. I might fail this one. It is only medium. It's one of the least, it's the least prioritized one by the board. So I think we'll be okay if we fail this objective, but I'm going to try to still keep at least 10 to 15 million in there so I don't fail it too badly. I don't know if it matters if I like completely screw it up and have like no money left, or if I have like $21 million left and miss it by $1 million. I'm not sure how strict that's going to be, but I doubt very seriously we're going to be able to achieve this one. And now for the objectives regarding the success of the club. The board wants us to reach the quarterfinal in the domestic cup. I think we should be able to do that. And in the Calcio A, which I'm not going to call it the Calcio A, it's the Serie A, just EA don't have the marketing rights for it, so I'm still going to call it the Serie A. So in the Serie A, they want us to finish in a Champions League place. That could be tricky in our first season, just because I think we only have 3 Champions League spots in the Serie A, and you know one of them is going to be taken by Juventus. So really we only have 2 spots that we can possibly get. I don't know in our first season if we're going to be able to do that. That's a very, very big ask of this team, considering how they've done recently in real life. Not sure we're going to have the squad for that one. We'll give it our best shot. And also for continental success, remember we don't have any European competition this season, so they want us to qualify for the Champions League again. Okay, we'll try to do that. And for the long term, within 4 seasons in the Champions League, reach the semifinal. Whew, that's going to be tough as well. I've done more with less, so maybe that's doable. I would like to try to reach the semifinal. I mean, with Milan, I want to restore them to their former glory. Hopefully that means winning a Champions League. That would be the ultimate goal, but it's tough. It's going to be tough either way, so I want to do that. Obviously, I want to do that. Just not sure if it's going to be possible, but we'll give it our best shot. So now let's have a look at the squad, and I've got the best possible starting 11 out there, at least in my opinion. This is the best we can do. And the one thing I've noticed about this team is that they have a lot of players, you know, mid to late 20s that don't have a lot of potential left. I mean, what you see is pretty much the best you're going to get with most of these players. There are a few exceptions to that. I mean, Niang is very, very good. He's young. He's going to become a fantastic player. He'll definitely feature on this team as well. So there's a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, what this team really lacks is youth and potential. There's nowhere for this team to go right now. So I mean, focusing on the youth academy and bringing in younger players is definitely going to be a focal point, especially in this first transfer window. So let's go through this starting 11 and kind of go over each player. Like I already talked about Niang, he's going to stick in this team. He's going to be probably the best player eventually in the club. Carlos Bacca up top. Now, he's not a player I would typically go for. He's a bit small at 5'11". He's got some pace to him. He's got a little bit of strength. I mean, he's pretty decent, 84 overall. I mean, you really can't knock him that much, but not a striker I typically go for. So we'll see how he does. If it turns out we need to go in a different direction, we will do so. Maybe we'll slide Niang up there. I'm not really sure, but for now, Bacca will stay up there. We have Suso over here on the right. I don't know too much about him, but it looks like he might have a little bit of potential in him. He's only 22 years old. He has a little bit of room to grow. Like the 4-star skills, 3-star weak foot's a bit meh, but I think he could become a pretty decent player. Sosa, 31 years old. That's the best he's going to be, and he's probably going to start going down pretty quickly, so we'll have to look to get someone else in there eventually. Across the other side, we have Bonaventura. This is probably one of the players I'm most excited about. I really, really like him, especially in a central midfield role. I think he's going to be a great box-to-box midfielder. He's a very well-rounded midfielder, similar to the Leon Goretzka we had with the Sounders last year. I think he's going to be that type of a player for us. And then in the other midfield spot, we have Montolivo. He's a club legend. He's team captain. He's not going to be going anywhere. We're going to keep him until he retires. Across the back line, I've placed in there this Sciglio because he's got the most potential, I think, out of all of our defenders that we have. And he's 76 rated now, so he's going to be the lowest rated player in the starting 11. But he can play left. He can play on the left or on the right. He's actually right-footed, but he has a 4-star weak foot. I absolutely love this guy, and I've been waiting a very, very long time to actually use him in a career mode. So I'm excited to get him in there. Next to him is Romagnoli. He's going to be another one of the better players on the team. He's one of the younger players, 21 years old, has loads of potential, one of the best young center backs in the game. So that's another one of those few exceptions that we have on this team. On the other side, we have Paletta. Oh boy, 30 years old. Not going to be going anywhere. I think center back might be a spot that we need to target in this upcoming transfer window. And on the right, we have Abate. He'll probably stay there for now. I don't see us really replacing him. Eventually, I might move this Sciglio over there. We have another young fullback in the team as well that has some decent potential to him, I think. So, for now, it will be Abate, and then Donnarumma. He's going to be one of the better goalkeepers in the game. He's very, very good, very young, very talented. Only 17 years old, the starting goalkeeper for Milan. Very, very tall order for him, but I think he can handle it. So moving on to the subs and the reserves. I'm not going to talk about every single player because honestly, there's not a lot to talk about here. There's not a whole lot of really good quality in this club overall. So I'll just talk about the ones that are going to be important for us this season or maybe important in the future. Starting off with Luis Adriano, he's our backup striker. He's very, very similar to Baca though. He's 6 foot tall, so nearly the same height. 3-star weak foot, 3-star skill moves, nothing to write home about there. It's pretty average. He's got some pace, he's got some strength. So overall, we have 2 strikers that play very, very similarly. So I guess we won't be losing too much if Adriano has to play. But again, there's not a whole lot there to be excited about either. So that's a little bit worrying for me. Keisuke Honda is the best player we have in the subs or reserves. He's 81 rated. And honestly, if you take a look, there's not a whole lot of 80 rated players in the team at all. So the fact that we have one on the bench is pretty impressive. Honda's more of a free kick specialist. He's kind of lost a step, so I don't really want to play him out wide. He can also play attacking midfield, but we'll have to see how we can utilize him. I really, really do like him, though, so hopefully we can get him on the field somewhere, even if it's just as a super sub, which I think is a role he could really, really excel at. Other than that, though, I mean, we have Fernandez, who's also 30 years old, same as Honda. He's a 5-star skiller, 4-star weak foot. Pretty decent player, but again, 30 years old, he's not going to get any better. He's only going to go down. Calabria, though, does have some potential to him. He's 19 years old. He could eventually take over for Abate on the right if we leave DeShiglio on the left, or we could move DeShiglio over and look for a new left back. Either way, we could train this guy up and see how good he gets. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. The only other player that really is interesting to me is Locatelli. He's 18 years old, another player that has some decent potential to him probably. A pretty well-rounded midfielder right now, but he's going to need a lot of work. 67 overall. I'm not even sure if I want to train him or just put him out on loan. We'll have to see. I think it might be worth training him, but I'm not sure yet. And then Pasalic, who's another young player, but he's on loan from Chelsea. So I might want to sign him because he actually does look like a pretty good player. I'll see if I can sign him from Chelsea if that's something you'd be interested in seeing me do. Now, we actually have some other players on the roster as well that I completely forgot about, and those are the players that are out on loan. So we actually do have some pretty decent young talent in this team, but it's still not the greatest. But one of the players that's out on loan is Diego Lopez, and he's a good goalkeeper. We're not bringing him back to start him at all. Donnarumma is our goalkeeper, 100% going forward. We're putting all of our faith in him. But we could bring Lopez back and sell him, or we could wait till he comes back off of loan and then sell him. Either way, we're going to sell Diego Lopez when we can. But the one player that I totally forgot about, and I can't believe this slipped my mind, is Hachi Mastor. He was a legend for us with Seattle in FIFA 16, and he is a part of AC Milan. He's just out on loan. I don't know if I want to call him back right now and start training him up immediately, or if I want to just let him stay out on loan for this season. Let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty sure I know which way you're going to want me to go, and you're going to want me to call him back immediately, but would it be better to let him stay out on loan? I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think about the situation with Mastor. We also have Jerson Vergara. He's a pretty good young center back, actually. How tall? Is he tall? I feel like he's short. 6'3". Thank goodness. A big... Is he strong? Let me check. Let me check. See, he's 79 strength as well? Yes, thank goodness. We do have a good, young, tall, strong center back in the team. He's just out on loan. I may call him back and start training him because I really, really am worried about the center back situation on this team. I'm not happy with it at all. And we have a couple of other players down here as well. I don't know too much about these younger players. If you do, let me know if any of these guys are any good. I'm not using any of the websites like SoFIFA or anything this year, so I'm gonna rely on you guys to tell me whether or not these guys are good. So yeah, if any of them are, please let me know. So the last thing I'm going to do today before we wrap up this episode, I told you we probably weren't going to get to any of the player transfers or anything because there's a lot to go over with this new career mode system. But the thing I do want to get done in this first episode is setting up the youth academy because it's obviously something we have to do now in FIFA. I'm pretty sure nearly every team you do in FIFA is going to have you set up a youth academy. So we're going to go ahead and hire a scout. Wow, there's not a lot of good... There's like no good scouts in here at all. That is really, that's so bad. Seriously? Okay, well, I'm actually not going to take any of these scouts because they're so awful. I need at least a 4-star, 4-star. I was hoping for a 5-star, 4-star. We got nothing even close. So I'm not going to take a scout until I get one that's actually going to bring us back some decent players. And that doesn't look like any of them. So we're going to wait on the Youth Academy at least for another week. I think it refreshes every week. I'll check back next week. So that is where we're going to end this first episode. And like I just said, I'm not going to be using any of those websites out there that tell me exactly what a player's potential is or anything like that. I'll be using the in-game scouting system some, but mostly I'm going to be relying on you guys. And I think if you've been around long enough, you'll know what players that I like that fit my style and will also fit this team. You guys can suggest those players to me and I'll go have a look at them. The in-game scouting is kind of, it's very, very broad. It just suggests, I mean, it shows you all the players that kind of fit what you say, but it doesn't tell you exactly what players will work for me. You guys are going to be the ones that know that better than the in-game system will. So I'm really going to be relying on you guys. If you want to use those websites like SoFIFA that tell you the potential, go for it. I won't have any problem with that. I'll be trusting that you guys are telling me the truth on which players are good or which players are not. But it's a different situation than I've ever tried before. Hopefully it works out for the best. You guys are going to be the best scouting system that I could possibly have. And hopefully we can build a really, really good team together. But that is going to do it for this one. If you did enjoy it, make sure to let me know by leaving a like below. Subscribe if you're new. Make sure to leave me comments. Tell me what players I can get that will help build this team. And I will see you when we come back for some more Milan career. See ya.